Hey, this is Travis. In today's video, we're going to learn how to use AI to research Bittensor subnets in search of undervalued gems with strong fundamentals. So we're going to start where I left off in the last video. I had done some research on Bitcast here. If you missed the last video, the links are in the comments. Just to give a quick rundown, I have a bunch of questions on the left here, and I'd like to get answers for many of them. It is quite a bit of work, but we can make it a little bit easier by using AI. So let's walk through this prompt just so you understand what's happening here. So I'm going to put in the subnet that I want to research here. And then I'm going to provide sources for the subnet here. And then you're not going to touch anything more in this prompt. You're just going to hit enter. But I'll go through the rest here. So it's just asking the questions, the roadmap, the value. All these questions are exactly what I have here in the spreadsheet. And then I have some response guidelines here. And then the last part here is the actual task that I want it to do. So you can get this prompt. The link is in the description to just copy and paste into Grok or whatever else you want to use. This is how I use it. So I'm going to put in Subnet 93, Bitcast here. And then I've got some sources that I researched earlier. And then I want to go down here and change it to deeper search and think. So I'm going to hit go here. All right, so it thought for about a minute here. It obviously got the subnet name correct, the number correct. Didn't know when it was registered, which is fine. What problem does the subnet solve? It incentivizes content creators to produce high quality videos for brands, ensuring transparency and fairness in rewarding engagement. Yeah, that sounds good. So I'm just going to copy and paste that in here. And it said the source was the white paper. So I could copy that in as well. Long-term vision and subnet roadmap. Actually, no. So I realized this isn't really how I want to use it. An answer that I have researched takes precedence over the AI's answer. So I'm actually just going to remove these. It did a good job answering that question. So let's just go through how it did on Bitcast. So far, so good. This one was answered properly. Vision and long-term roadmap is to disrupt the influencer marketing industry with decentralized tech. That's a good answer. Milestones has published its first content brief marking initial progress. It's up to 8 now, so this isn't quite accurate. Plans for growing adoption of the subnet include expanding the creator network and attracting more brands to use the platform. Sure. Who are the customers? Brands and advertisers posting content briefs. Yeah. End users, content creators producing videos per briefs. I'm not sure that's what I would put in there. Yeah, I think this one's incorrect. Content creators are the miners, are the people doing the work for the subnet. They're not end users. What benefit are there for stakers? Just the regular APY. Burns are unsure, which is fine. They're not very good at talking about their burns. Will and Tom, you guys should talk about that more. So if buybacks exist, how do they work? In the paper here, there was a mention of buybacks. Details are definitely lacking on that. So I'm not going to go through everything in super detail here, but it looks like it's gotten like 95% of these correct, which is fantastic. Maybe it's just because the subnet has a little bit more information out there than other subnets. And then it's got a few remarks here at the end. So this would be just helpful for me to look and say, oh, these parts are missing. Maybe I should ask the subnet owner these specific questions. Let's try it out on another subnet. So let's look at subnet 32, it's AI. I know basically nothing about this subnet, and we'll see if it's able to summarize the subnet for me. First of all, I'm going to grab some sources here. So just going to TAO stats, grabbing some links, GitHub, the website. The other thing I like to have is Twitter. So the way that I find their Twitter is I search for hashtag SN and the number. But this guy retweeted, he retweeted something from It's AI here. So this must be the subnet owner's account. It says itsai.org. So I'll just put that into Grok as well. It's AI subnet 32. Deeper search and think. Okay, so it thought for a minute here and it's got some responses here. So I've copied all that over. So let's just go through each answer here. One that it didn't get, and it's going to be hard for LLMs to get this, would be the start date. So that was February 14th, 2025. So the way that I conceptualize this in my brain is that my researched answer is better than the AI's answer. So if the AI comes up with an answer and I take a look at the source and I take a look at what it said and I like what it said, then maybe I will actually just say, all right, it's my researched answer, because now I trust it and I've looked at the source and I have more confidence in it now because I've researched that answer. So it says it solves the problem of detecting AI-generated content, and I believe that is correct if we look at their website. Identify AI-generated text in one click. There you go. What is the vision? The vision is decentralized AI-generated content detection solution with a roadmap, including a website, web app, Chrome extension, and API. That is very accurate as well. They've got all these products here even. What key milestones has the subnet achieved to date? Website, web app, Chrome extension, etc. The same answers there. Yeah, that looks good. What is the plan for growing adoption? Plan involves subscription plans for services to monetize and boost adoption. I'm not really sure that grows the subnet, so I'm just going to leave that one blank. What measurable impact does the subnet aim to achieve? It aims to accurately identify AI-generated text. That is correct. What are specific use cases for the subnet's output? Okay, it looks like filtering ML training data, detecting AI-generated student work, assessing text authenticity for writers. Sure, those seem reasonable to me. Who are the customers? Likely machine learning engineers, writers, recruiters, and cybersecurity pros. Sure. Who are the end users? Are anyone using the site, app, extension, or API? That's also correct. And then it didn't have answers for these ones. What are the benefits for stakers, burns, etc.? That's not surprising to me. I don't know these for basically all the subnets, but these are questions I'd like to at least try to understand. Nothing on the required skills and hardware for mining on the subnet. We can usually research these things pretty easily just by going to the GitHub. So let me just see if I can find the answer to those. So in the GitHub here, if we go to mining docs, it looks like there's system requirements here. So at least NVIDIA A4000. I'm not really sure what the required skills are here, presumably something to do with training AI. And there was no mention as to whether the default miner code can compete effectively. That's not too important for us as investors. How does the subnet work? Miners are queried with human and AI generated text and scored on accuracy and validation process. Criteria for ranking miners. Miners are ranked by accuracy in identifying AI-generated content by using varied parameters for robustness. And the incentive mechanism vision here, it's designed to be stable and effective, proven top benchmark performance. So I don't know if I really understand the incentive mechanism well enough here to put in my own research answer, but that's fine. This is kind of a good general high level, so I'll leave that there. It had no information on attributes of the subnet. Again, this is not too surprising. No team information as well was able to be grabbed by the AI. Maybe we'll take a look. So I'm not too sure who the subnet owners are. If I wanted to do some more research on my own, maybe I could figure that out. Okay, down here in business and financial, don't know how it was funded. This one is interesting. They opened its AI Technologies FFCO in Dubai to grow and handle payments outside of Bittensor. That doesn't really answer the question, but it's interesting. What is the subnet's revenue model or monetization strategy? Yeah, we can actually see that as they have pricing here. So it looks like a subscription-based thing. Does the subnet generate revenue now? That's kind of a vague question. So I'm not too surprised that it left it blank. I'm not sure still on this. This would be something to probably ask the subnet owner. Does the subnet use a custom token beyond TAO or alpha? It uses TAO or alpha TAO managed within Bittensor. This is an example of the AI going off the rails a bit, so I'm going to delete that. Total addressable market, 3 billion in English-speaking countries alone. Okay. There's still a little bit you got to do on your own here, like looking at the price, taking a look at the GitHub to see how active it is. Looks like there haven't been any commits in the last couple weeks here, so I'd be a little bit worried as far as if the team is active or not. Looking through their Discord here, sometimes you can find some nuggets of wisdom. This guy's talking about, or sorry, the subnet owner is talking about their payment support release. So yeah, I'm going to put a yes here for active team. Apparently they must have been working on that, getting payments up for generating revenue here. So I would say that this one is a yes now as well. One of the things I want to do with these videos is to give you a feeling for where prices are. So it's AI at 0.0038 here. And then we also looked at Bitcast already, 0.00 0.27. These two subnets are already generating income. So when you look at other subnets in the same price range, you should be really hoping to see a little bit of income. So yeah, anything at 0.001 that is actually doing some work, I think those ones are potential gems that you could find. I should also mention that Bitcast was able to generate income within 1 month. That just kind of proves the end-to-end process is working, or can work at the very least. I'd say it's better to see revenue than not, but you should maybe have a little bit of grace for subnets that are a little bit more research focused. And for the third potential subnet gem here, I was just going through these and I saw this Flamewire one just jumped out to me because it has an icon here. And we can see that there's no GitHub for me. Let's do a little bit more research. Again, I don't see anything about their subnet or about their GitHub here. And I looked on their Discord here, and the subnet owner posted a little bit here, but they didn't link to any GitHub. However, I dug a bit deeper, and on their website here, when you go to docs and then go down to resource links here, I was able to finally find their GitHub. And it looks like they've been committing pretty frequently since they registered, so that's good. So let's just take this link, throw it in the sources, their website, put it in the sources. Sometimes I like to link to a white paper, even if it's on their website. Some AIs don't really go through the entirety of a website. All right, it came up with very little the very first time that I ran this. So I changed the sources here and added a bunch more from their docs. And it was able to give me a little bit more detail on the responses. So what problem is it solving? Flamewire provides a decentralized infrastructure layer for blockchain data access, aiming to make it a public utility. I'm not too sure what that means. My understanding from reading through the answers here is that Flamewire is like a decentralized access point for blockchain data. The subnet's vision aims to turn blockchain data access into a public utility, potentially reducing costs and increasing accessibility. If I go to their website here, you can see here it's got a couple supported chains, although Bittensor is the only one that's live. So from reading through this a little bit and from the answers I got here from the AI, it sounds like the miners run full archive nodes for blockchains, and then Flamewire provides access to those through some API or something. It seems a little bit above my head at this point. But I do know that running nodes on some crypto networks can be costly. But maybe that's what they're helping here. Milestones and roadmap in general are basically empty. One of the things that I found interesting here is that they expect to be getting revenue soon. I think I read that on the Discord. And they're going to be swapping that for alpha and burning it. So that sounds good to me as an investor. If they can do that over time, that will create scarcity and increase the value of their token. Flamewire's output can be used for blockchain analytics, research, and app development requiring full archive data. So I guess it's just giving people access to the data on the node. Who are the customers? Developers, researchers, blockchain analysts needing decentralized data access. And end users are likely the same as customers. Yeah. Benefits for stakers, rewards by contributing resources to maintain the network. So I think this one is wrong. So I'm just going to delete that one myself. Miners need robust hardware, including significant storage and GPUs to run full archive nodes for supported blockchains. That makes sense for required hardware. Miners require expertise in blockchain node management and Bittensor network operations. That's really good. Good job, AI. How does the subnet work? Miners operate full archive nodes to supply blockchain data, while validators ensure data integrity, uniquely decentralizing data access. That's interesting. Okay. Does the subnet depend on other subnets? Depends on Bittensor and the blockchains it supports, like Ethereum and Sui. Yeah, that's a good answer. Nothing for the team. There are competitors here. Flamewire competes with centralized providers like Infura and Alchemy. So yeah, if we go back to the subnet prices here, and we can see that Flamewire is near the bottom, 20th from the bottom, but they are building something and they're rather new. So maybe there is some potential. Now from my research here, I believe what they are building is legitimate. However, I don't know anything about their team. Maybe I could fill this out more if I provided either more links to the sources here or asked the subnet owner myself. if you see any improvements that can be made to this prompt. I'd love for this to become like a community effort where we all kind of contribute to improving this prompt, making it a little bit easier to do subnet research. At some point, I think I'll have it output into an XLS file so you don't have to copy it over. So stay tuned for that.